Let's dive into IAM role policy updates. Think of them as the rules for who gets access to what in AWS. Updating them is like giving a VIP pass to the right people, but it takes time to roll out. AWS ensures security and control, but propagation delays can be tricky. Stick around and I'll show you how to minimize disruptions. I'm Amelia James, a technology expert with 13 plus years of experience designing and delivering human resource management systems that actually work for people. I specialize in building scalable integrated HR platforms that streamline processes, enhance employee experience, and give leadership real-time, actionable insights. IAM role policies are like backstage passes. They determine who can access AWS services. Instead of handing keys to individuals, we attach policies to roles. This helps maintain control and security. And yes, it's all in JSON format, making it flexible and precise. Stick with me and I'll break it all down. IAM policies aren't just digital paperwork. They dictate who gets access to AWS resources. A well-set policy ensures security, but a misstep can create vulnerabilities. Think of it as locking your front door but leaving the back wide open. Let's explore how to craft policies that keep your AWS services safe. IAM role policy updates are quick, but not always instant. Depending on the AWS region, updates may take seconds or even minutes. It's a bit like sending a message across different time zones. Some places respond faster than others. Don't worry, AWS optimizes efficiency to keep delays minimal. Verifying IAM role policy updates isn't just a checkbox exercise. It's essential for security. First, hop into the AWS console and check those policy tweaks. Then, take a stroll through Cloud Trail logs to see who did what. Want a safety net? The IAM Policy Simulator lets you preview permissions before going live. And finally, don't forget to assume the role to make sure it behaves as expected. IAM updates aren't instant. They take time to travel through AWS like a sleepy snail. So if changes aren't kicking in right away, don't panic. Different AWS regions may experience varying replication speeds, so patience is key. Once the waiting period is over, always double-check your updates. And if your policy changes are mission-critical, keep an eye on propagation so you're not left scratching your head later. Who needs a fancy UI when you've got the AWS CLI? Running AWS IAM Get Role lets you see role details in a snap. Want more? AWS IAM List Attached Role Policies will fetch all attached policies, so nothing slips by unnoticed. And don't just skim the data. Analyzing the JSON output ensures your policies are working exactly as intended. So let's get typing and keep those IAM policies in check. IAM role policies can be tricky, like untangling a knot in your shoelaces. Sometimes policies conflict, permissions go haywire, or roles get attached incorrectly. And if your changes aren't showing up right away, don't assume AWS is broken. Propagation just takes time. Plus, if Cloud Trail logs are limited, troubleshooting can feel like a guessing game. But with patience and the right tools, these issues are totally manageable. Nothing tests your patience quite like a delayed IAM update. First, check AWS service status. Sometimes the delay isn't your fault. If all looks normal, inspect your policy syntax. A missing bracket or typo can throw everything off. Also, double-check role attachments and trust relationships. You don't want a policy meant for one role affecting another. And if you're still stuck, try testing with temporary IAM roles. Let's step into the real world of IAM role policy updates. Ever had to revoke outdated permissions before they cause trouble? Or grant temporary access to a project-based role? Maybe compliance regulations forced you to tweak access settings. Whatever the case, following the principle of least privilege ensures no unnecessary permissions linger. Security is serious business, but there's always room for efficiency. AWS has some solid advice on IAM role policy updates. Stick to the principle of least privilege. Give users only what they need, no more. Want better controls? IAM policy conditions help fine-tune access. Don't forget regular audits. Keeping policies fresh prevents surprises down the road. And instead of reinventing the wheel, Try AWS Managed Policies. They provide consistency and save you from creating policies from scratch. So what's the secret to smooth IAM role policy updates? First, don't neglect your policies. Regular reviews keep them effective. If delays occur, monitor propagation instead of assuming your changes vanished into thin air. AWS tools help verify updates, making life easier. And most importantly, follow AWS best practices, because when AWS speaks, smart admins listen. Please do like, share, and subscribe to our channel. For more information, contact us.